Hi, I'm David Jackson and I founded S2M 10 years ago, in 2006 with Samantha Watts. I've been in the recruitment industry for 17 years now and going strong. I think S2M is number one in the Australian digital recruitment market because basically we employ people that are top of their game. We also have a great brand that we've built. And really we've had long-term relationships with several clients. I've been working with the same clients some for 17 years, Samantha's been working with them for 16 years. And we've built those relationships which have allowed us to be, a dominant player in the digital space. I think S2M is a great place to work. I mean, look at the environment itself, the offices that we're in. It's a sought after building and it's a sought after environment to work in. It's in the creative end of town. Also think the people here at S2M are quite fun. They all get a bit of banter on. They enjoy themselves out of work together. The other reasons I think is such a great place to work is our brand itself. The clients that we work with, we're working with News Corp, eBay, all the digital agencies, working with Coles, we're working with CommBank, so you get a great selection of clients to recruit for, and it's just a cutting edge space to be, digital technology. Some of the best recruiters at S2M, really what it boils down to for them is working the long hours, putting in the hard yards. I think it's about building relationships with their clients and candidates, about being honest and ethical and not lying. The best recruiters I've seen really control the whole process. So it's all about taking a detailed brief, managing the client, managing the candidate, and just taking control of the process, as I said. The important steps in the recruitment process would be taking a detailed job brief and using that blue form that we use here just to make sure that you're asking every single question when you're taking a job brief. I still use them today, 17 years in the game. So taking that detailed job brief, at the end of taking that job brief, using the ABC close to make sure you're getting the exclusive agreement with the client. Also at the same time, asking the client for a time in their diary in a week's time you can come down and present your short list to them, and also times in their diary to interview the 3 candidates that you're going to present them. So we're not using email at all, we're doing everything face to face. It's relationship based. So then we're at a stage where you've taken your job brief, you need to source the candidates. That's all about, first priority is getting a job onto the S2M job board and through our social media channels, which are driving 30% of the candidates we place. Secondly, we need to search the database. We've got a database of 10 years of candidates at S2M that's clean, cleansed and ready to go. And it's a job out of database, which is an amazing system to use. So we're searching the database. We're also asking our colleagues who they know. We're then getting out and networking amongst candidates you've placed and clients that you know. We're also using LinkedIn, of course, and therefore we're getting candidates that we want a long list, we screen them, we shortlist them, and we're ready to take the candidates to the client. One of the best ways I've found to do business development and get jobs on is really to formulate a list of clients that you want to target and understanding that segment that you're targeting, and doing a bit of research on it and finding a few articles around that sector, and ideally articles that include the company's name. So when you're going to pick up the phone and ring this company, you've worked out a bit about the industry and you've found an article about the company, ideally with the contact's name in it potentially, and you've got a candidate to sell into that client. So then when you're making it's the first call's a cold call. When you're making that call, you've got a product to sell them, but you also know the company. So that's, to me, is the best way to start with. And then the other, the tried old true way is referrals. We all know that X% of people tell other people when you do a really good job. So referrals is key. And we pride ourselves on at S2M that something like 70 to 80% of the candidates we place have come from referrals. Reverse marketing is probably the most professional way to develop business. For simple reasons is that when you're ringing a client, it's a cold call, you want to be able to be selling them something. You don't want to be like every other recruiter ringing up going, hey, how you going? We're S2M, you know us in the market, have you got any jobs on? And they'll just hang up on you. So if you're going in and ringing a client with an amazing candidate who's got this qualification, they've got this achievement that's quantifiable, it's a major achievement that's actually quantifiable, and that they're ready for interview and they're exclusive to you because they're not talking to any other recruiters, and you've got them for a week and you've decided to take them out to the market and you're one of the people they'd like to work for. And if you close that off with either getting the candidate an interview or a job spec, I think reverse marketing is extremely vital. One of the most powerful ways to get jobs on really would be networking. And that's all about going to events at night time or going to events during the day, meeting quality people, and basically following up and keeping in touch with those people. So then when you do find a quality candidate, you've got someone to reverse market in to those people that you've met at an event, they've met you in a social setting, they get to understand you. And I've been networking all my life basically, and I think that's shown in the success of S2M. Most of our recruiters do a lot of networking, and it's a vital part of the business. And when you're presenting candidates to clients, I really like doing it in person. I know a lot of people say they don't have the time to do it, but I think it's powerful to actually get a time in the diary when you've taken a job brief to actually present your shortlist to the client. It's another point of contact. You're touching your client again. It's basically another client visit that you can log down. And if you not get the chance to lock a client in for a visit to present your candidates, it must be done over the phone. So you simply ring the client up, talk through the candidates that you've got, lock in an interview time, and then send the CV across to them. And just tell them, if they've got any questions post seeing the CV, give me a call, I'll clarify why I want you to interview this candidate. Preparing candidates for interview is vital in the process. We must be briefing the candidate about the role. Everything you know about the specific role, everything you know about the interviewer, and everything you know about the company. So it's the role, it's the company, and it's the person who's interviewing you. You also must be briefing the candidate to make sure they're wearing the right dress, that they're turning up on the right time, and they're going to the right location. You also must be briefing the candidate not to mention money, because you're here for the opportunity, and I prefer you if you let David Jackson manage that negotiation process. In regards to controlling the recruitment process with candidates and clients, I think it's just vital just to be able to know that you've got the ego, you're the man that's been asked to source the candidates, and the candidate, you're the man for the candidate that's been asked to find them a job. So you've just got to be confident. You can't do this on email either. It's got to be all done by the phone. You've got to control the candidate and the client with your demeanour on the phone, with your stance and your position on how you talk. And that's how I do it. I think in addition to that, around candidate and client control, I think it's important not to have too many jobs on. I think you need to just have a swag of 5 to 8 exclusive jobs on, so you're not distracted and focused on roles that aren't guaranteed on being filled. I think you need to keep in touch with your client on a every 48-hour basis. You want to know whether they've had anyone presented to them by their HR team or who's come out of the woodwork. And you also need to keep in touch and control your candidate, because you want to know whether some other recruiters presented them another job, or whether they've gone on, how they've gone on any other interviews they've been going, if you haven't got them on an exclusive basis. So it's really all about constant communication with both people. Candidate and client exclusivity. Let's talk about the candidate. I think pretty simple with the candidate. You've interviewed them, making sure that you've brought them into your office, shown them your office, shown them your interview technique. You've taken in a stack of jobs with you and talked through some jobs that they may be potentially good for with your clients. You've pulled out your preferred supplier list and rattled off all the clients you work with. You then ask them for exclusivity, and then you tell them what you're going to do. So, I want you to remain exclusive with me for 1 week. What I'm going to do is, you're going to tell me 10 companies you want to work for. I'm going to tell you another 10 that I'm going to present you to. I'm going to ring those companies. I'm going to tell them that you want to work for them, and this is your major achievement, and this is when you can interview. And I'm going to ask them, do you want to see them Tuesday or Thursday? So, being able to say to the client that I've got you exclusive is going to want to make them go, oh, hang on, I've got to see this candidate. No one else is going to present them to me. They're exclusive on the market through S2M. On the client side, so if you have been in recruitment for a long time and built those relationships, and the clients love working with you because they know how you can fill roles, it's really about taking a detailed job brief when you've got the opportunity to take that detailed job brief, and impressing them with the length and the questions that you're asking. But at the end of it, you've got to do what I call the ABC close. You want me to tell you about the ABC close? Okay. So when we're in recruitment, Mr. Client, we work 3 different styles of roles. One's an A style, and that's a retained role. That's the sort of work that I do in executive search, where the client pays me up front when they take a brief, the client pays me a third, and then the next third when I send a shortlist, and the final third on signing of contract. What we call Class B is an exclusive role, and that's Mr. Client, you give it to 1 or 2 recruiters. And Class C, Mr. Client, is what we call a bun fight. And that's when you, Mr. Client, think it's great. You're going to give it to 5, 6 recruiters, and they're all going to go run away and work for you and bring you back the best people in the market. In fact, the opposite happens. So you give it to more than 1 recruiter, no one's going to work it because no one's guaranteed they're going to get paid. So they're not going to work it. But if you give it to me as a Class B role, I can go back to my boss and say, I've got an exclusive role. They've given me a week to work it. I'm going to drop everything else. I'm going to go into the market. I'm going to find 3 candidates for this role. I'm going to make a fee out of it. If you can embrace the actual sales process in recruitment, you'll be extremely successful. And some of the best recruiters that I've seen do things like, I've mentioned it before, but they work hard and they're dedicated and they're focused. They actually listen. So remember the old saying, two ears and 1 mouth. So it's very important to listen, and it's very important to listen to take in the information that the client or the candidate is telling you, so that you can sell back and close off any objections that they may be having for you. So it's work hard, it's understand objections. The most effective salespeople also network, and they have fun as well. They enjoy what they're doing and they have fun. And with fun, having fun will bring success. Building long-term client relationships, I think the key there is following up your clients. And I just use diary reminders to tell you the truth. That's the most simple way and most effective way that I do it. And when I'm talking to a client, I'm asking how their team's going. I'm asking what the projected growth is going to be. I'm asking how the company's doing. I'm asking, if they're in for a promotion and are they going to be managing more people. I'm inviting them to events that we go to. I'm sending them paper articles that I read. If I've seen anything on the news about them, I ping them an email. It's just that constant little bits of touch with the client that enables you to build a long-term relationship. I'm taking them for a beer, once a quarter. I'm buying them a sandwich. Not a huge expense to the company. Just buying them a sandwich, just a touch base. And also, when we're placing 2 or 3 candidates in the same client, we're getting the team together and we're taking the team out for a lunch. And I think that's been vital in a lot of the relationships that we've built, is that we actually get buy-in from the whole team, not only the manager but the team, and they see us as S2M and they see us as humans.